that when you think in terms of information theory, if in the physical vacuum we describe that as an infinite source of undifferentiated, completely disorganized, chaotic potential. There is no up or down, there is no left or right, there is no in or out, there is no plus or minus, there is no light or dark. There is possibility. If that possibility can be found to organize itself according to some set of simple, elegant rules that are universally and irremediably consistent, they're universal everywhere. That's not true in physics, is it? And there's always exceptions to every rule of physics. Because they're mapping the element, they're not mapping the cause. They're not mapping the source. So, hang with me here now. Let's assume, for the purposes of argument, that the model that says the world is divisible into the finest indivisible particle of matter is wrong. Murray Gell-Mann got a Nobel Prize in 1986 because he was able to validate 2 of 6 different kinds of quarks. 11 years later, 450 scientists at the same lab that he used to work in, at Fermi Labs, attempted to publish a report. The collider detector at Fermi, 450 credentialed scientists and engineers, attempted to publish a report which proved that they were able to take quarks apart. They developed a methodology. They were impeccable. It took them 12 years. They tried to publish their report. They had to agree to withdraw the report because of pressure from the scientific establishment that literally, actually threatened their professional credentials and the extinction of the laboratory itself. It's one of the biggest scandals in modern scientific history ever. What does it mean if what is supposed to be absolute is shown to be not absolute, and the means by which we're supposed to make discoveries about what's true spends all its time and energy defending what it thinks is true at the expense of finding out what really is true?
Modern science has become the Catholic Church.
It means that the institution has become more important than what it was created to do. And we see that everywhere, don't we? Well, look, let's get moving because we're about out of time here. Here's how it goes. Everything else in this paper talks about these 10 steps. From the physical vacuum, you have infinite, chaotic, undifferentiated potential. And in that irrepressible sea of potential, possibilities emerge. Not big possibilities, but fundamental, primary possibilities called data. Well, what is a data? The Rig Veda tells us what a data is. It is information that has a beginning point, a gap, and an end. Sounds like bits, doesn't it? Sounds like ones and zeros. It is. When a potential in the physical vacuum interacts with another kind of potential, what is formed temporarily. There is no time, there is no space, there is no distance, because those things are products of interaction. But in the physical vacuum, we then say that potential emerges as a virtual ensemble, a potential marriage of this piece and this piece to make one of those. A virtual ensemble. The physical vacuum creates, is the genesis, is the source of virtual ensembles, and that is the 0 point. where one virtual ensemble interacts with another. And their joining actually creates a something. That is the first time at any scale that you have duality. It's called a qubit, a subquark. Our boys at Trinity that's found that. That's the marriage. That's how it happens. And subquarks, based on all the data they published, exhibit this extraordinary property. When they try to take images of them in the cloud chamber, this hard vacuum chamber where they take digital images, electron microscope images of things that are interacting and they mash together, the subquarks go dash, 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 dash. They're here and they're not, and they're here and they're not, and they're here and they're not. And guess what? The periodicity, the frequency of when they're here and when they're not is specific to the material that was crashed. Every material has a subquarkian signature. Oh, baby, does that change the model? Does that change the model? Subquarks come together in pairs to create quarks. 6 kinds of quarks, 6 kinds of antiquarks. 6 of a color, 6 of an anticolor. 6 of a spin, 6 of another spin. So that you have apposition, where you have quarks of positive polarity and quarks of negative polarity. In light materials like electrons, the standard model says that electrons are indivisible. Well, you better tell that to Humphrey Maris at Princeton. He's slicing electrons in half. And he can see the physical side and the quantum side. Oops. In mesons, in light materials, the model says 2 quarks come together to make a light particle. In neutrons and protons, baryons, hadrons, 3 quarks come together. Well, what we know about quarks is that when you bring them together, they always come together in the same way for the same reason. And they're not mass. They have no mass. They operate without respect to the gravitational field effect. In fact, at the level of quarks, there is no gravitational field effect. You don't get gravity until quarks combine to create subatomic particles called neutrons and protons and electrons. That's where gravity comes from. And if we disrupt the relationship between neutrons, protons, and electrons, we suspend gravitational field force in that locale. It doesn't work anymore. It's not magic. You understand how the stuff works. Yes?
Same flow of inertia?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is no inertia without mass. You suspend the properties of mass. You suspend the relationships that create mass. You induce the relationships that increase magnetic potential. Then you change the way stuff works. That's not the reserve point.
I know we're running out of time here. You mentioned that you were going to have some websites for us. And,
Yeah, write this down.
I would love to.
If you want this information,
I could do.
send me an email. David Urth, Y-U-R-T-H, one word, lowercase, at Nova Institute of Technology, all one word, .com. And I will send you the stuff. Okay? What this means, guys, is that when you understand how stuff operates from the inside out, you understand what those rules are, the rules of self-organizing criticality. We don't even get to talk about it because we're out of time. When you understand that, you understand why stuff is the way it is. You understand it. And what we want to accomplish by making this presentation is to let you know what those rules are and where you can find them, so you can use them.
.com?
.com. NovaInstituteOfTechnology.com. Thanks very
Thank you.
much.
Question for you.
Sure.
I didn't write down the first one, the guy that had 25
Nicholas Gisin. It's in the paper.
and...
Gisin.
Okay, and what kind of...
That's CELN.
Thank you. Because the scientific is not answerable of instant communication.
Yeah, just get over there, past the camera.
Thank you.